Here on this channel, I like to examine video game guns and scrutinize their attention to detail. For this particular video, we're looking at the guns in Stalcraft X. What is Stalcraft, you may ask? Well, basically, it's like Stalker, but it's multiplayer, and everything is very blocky. I know you guys were probably expecting more Stalker too, but the guys from Stalcraft just hopped in and sponsored me to review their guns. So yes, this is a sponsored video. But what makes it so interesting is that these guys specifically requested that I do an everything wrong video. Most sponsors would want you to glaze their game without an ounce of criticism, but not the guys at Stalcraft. They're chill like that. Sponsorship or not, I have to say, the guns in Stalcraft are pretty dang good. It's kind of funny, because the game as a whole has blocky graphics, so you'd probably expect some low-poly gun models with flat textures. But no, the guns are very accurate to real life. I do have beef with other aspects, but in terms of the visuals, the guns are basically perfect, or at least really close to it. Very rarely will you notice a giant boneheaded mistake. Just take the Makarov for example. The only inaccuracies are very minor. It doesn't have the star in the grip or the markings on the slide. But that's it. Other than that, it's a Makarov. And I really ain't gonna worry about the lack of distinct markings. It's not that big of a deal. And some guns do have the correct markings, so they're like extra immersive. I gotta say, they really nailed the AKs. These guns look awesome. And man, the wood on the AKM especially looks absolutely beautiful. I really appreciate the wear and tear on some of the older guns. It really makes you feel like these guns have been used and abused in the zone for years. It looks like all the Slavic guns in general were executed perfectly. I had trouble finding anything wrong with these. Then again, I'm not an expert on obscure Russian guns that are unobtainable for an American. So if there's any Spetsnaz agents in the comment section, please, let me know what you think about the guns in Stalcraft. For now, I would say all of them are worthy of a spot in the S tier. Now what I know for certain is that they did mess up a couple of the Western guns. Like for some reason, the magazine on the HKG3 is canted at a weird angle. I don't know how or why this one ended up crooked. Perhaps they mistook it for an AK. It also features an FEF trigger group, but it should say SEF. S stands for safe, E is for semi, and F is for full auto. But in this case, it looks like it has two full auto settings, full auto and fuller auto. There's that, and the pistol grip looks like some aftermarket attachment they got from Temu. It also has the wrong end plate. The G3's end plate should have 2 pins, but this one only has 1. It looks like they used the end plate from an HK33, which is the 5.56 version of the HKG3. I'd say the G3 is the most cursed gun in the entire game. This is as bad as it gets, and really, it's not that terrible, especially when you compare it to some other games. I'd give this G3 a C tier placement. There's a couple mistakes with the AR-15s as well. The M16A2 is actually an M16A1, but with green furniture. So of course, the M16A1 has red furniture. Perhaps the reason why they colored them green and red is so that the players can distinguish between the two. But that logic doesn't really hold up. They could easily make them distinguishable by, making the A2 an actual A2. With the way they're doing it, they ought to make the M16A3 blue, and the M4 should be yellow or something. But no, the M16A3 does look like an M16A3, although it doesn't have a brass deflector, and it's using an A1 style grip. So it looks like they reused those assets from the M16A1, and I don't see why they did that, because the M4 has the correct receiver and the correct grip. They literally could have used those assets for the M16A3, but for some reason, they didn't. But what's really goofy about the M4 is the carry handle. It looks deformed. It almost looks like they ripped the carry handle from an L85, smashed it with a hydraulic press, then slapped it on there. It's quite cursed if you ask me. Very uncanny. It's such a goofy mistake. They could have just used the carry handle from the M16A3. But hey, at the very least, you can get rid of the ugly carry handle by slapping an ACOG on there. I think I'd put the M4, the M16A3, and the M16A2 all in B tier. The M16A1 is the best one out of the bunch, so I think it belongs in A tier. That's pretty much all I noticed when it comes to the visuals. Every other gun is flawless, or really close to it. Let's just say every other gun goes in S tier or A tier. So, there you go. That is everything wrong with the guns in Stalcraft. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Just kidding, of course. There's plenty more to talk about. We ought to talk about the animations, because oh boy, they're freaking awesome. I appreciate something as simple as the equip animations. When you take out a gun, you'll actuate the safety of the decocker, then rack or charge the gun. Such a cool little detail. The inspects are pretty sweet too. It's quite satisfying doing something as simple as admiring and checking the functions of your gun. But the reloads especially are freaking dope. They're natural and tactical, and you really feel the weight behind each movement. Overall, it seems the technique is solid too. I never noticed anything outright wrong. I love the reload on the Mark 14 especially. Your character has to struggle a little bit to get the magazine in, which is super accurate for an M14. These guns aren't exactly the smoothest to reload. You have to rock in the magazine at a very specific angle. And I love the way you smack the bolt release to send it home. It's so visceral. But oh my goodness, look at how they handled the Desert Eagle. It's flashy and bombastic, just as a deagle should be. You really feel the raw power behind each shot. It's one hell of a hand cannon, and it's stupid fun to shoot. I would almost say the Desert Eagle has the best animations, but I think the Mark 47 Mutant has it beat. Just look at these animations. They are insanely good. It's really nice to see they went all out for the animations. These guns are addicting to shoot. And when I'm playing a shooter game, I want my guns to be fun to shoot. They even animated the hammers on the double barrel. Some games kinda skip over that. They tend to not animate the hammers at all, but not Stalcraft. They made sure to get the basic functions right. The attention to detail on the PKM especially is absolutely insane. When you get to the end of your ammo belt, you can actually see that you only have a couple rounds left. A lot of games tend to neglect this detail, but once again, that's not the case for Stalcraft. They painstakingly animated everything properly. And yes, in case you're wondering, this game does have partial reloads. So when you reload, you don't always rack the gun, even if you're only halfway through your magazine. However, you don't get the extra bullet in the chamber on a partial reload. I think that's the only core mechanic that they're missing here. But don't worry, they do have a bullet counted reload for guns with internal magazines. So you don't reload 5 rounds, even if you only shot 1. With the Mosin, for example, if you shoot 1 bullet, you reload 1 bullet. You shoot 3, you reload 3. It's freaking genius. And man, the Mosin itself is so nice to shoot. Racking the bolt is satisfying. Each shot gives you a solid punch. Really makes you appreciate every shot you take. All around, these guns feel great to shoot. But one animation error I did notice is with the high power. There's nothing wrong with the gun itself. The modeling is great. It looks just like a high power. But the way your character holds the gun, it's pointed way too far downward, so you can't see your front sight. You just gotta aim with the rear sight, with a big open hole in the middle. This definitely strikes me as a simple oversight though. It's something they could easily fix too. And now that I brought it to their attention, I'm sure they will. And you know what else I really like about the guns in Stalcraft? They all use their real life names. There's no goofy made up names like Cast-Off 762 or KV Broadside. Like, no dude, that is an AK. This is a Sega. So I'm real glad to see that Stalcraft went all in on the gun immersion. This whole game is like a gun lover's paradise. They've got all kinds of cool and obscure guns. And there is a boatload of them. There's gotta be around 200 something guns in this game. It's kinda insane how Stalcraft managed to have so many guns and have them all be such high quality. Because if you look at the Stalker games, there's really not that many. For Stalker 2 specifically, I think there's just a little over 30, and the results are kinda mixed. Some are pretty accurate, but others are total abominations. So you know what? I'm gonna say it. Stalcraft has better guns than Stalker, and most other AA or AAA games for that matter. I wish I could review all these guns individually, but frankly, I ain't gonna do that. Because if I did, then I would be making videos about Stalcraft until Fallout 5 comes out. That's one thing that I don't like about these guns. It takes too long to unlock them, and that's the main reason why I can't review all these guns in depth. I simply don't have them. I do wish they would reduce the requirements to unlock these guns, because as is, you really gotta work for it. I can't say I'm a big fan of the balancing either. It's not grounded in reality. It's very video gamey. There's lots of damage scaling and tiered guns and all that. I would certainly prefer a more realistic approach to the balancing, especially considering that the guns themselves look so realistic. If they could iron out the balancing and the progression system, then I could see myself playing this game for many hours. I sure love collecting and shooting cool guns, and Stalcraft has lots of cool guns. If you guys would like to play Stalcraft for yourself, then you can download it right now by using my link in the description. It's available on PC through Steam, and also their proprietary launcher. Also, when you go to download, make sure to use my code, SM25Brandy. Okay, that's all I got for this video. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about the guns and Stalcraft. Destroy that like button while you're at it. and I'll see y'all in the next video.